You wake up in the morning, and before you even put your feet on the floor, it starts. That deep aching stiffness in your hips, that tight locked feeling in your lower back. Your knees feel like rusted hinges. And every morning you think to yourself, is this just what getting older feels like? What if I told you that the answer is no? And what if the solution takes just 4 minutes, requires no equipment whatsoever, and can be done right from the comfort of your chair, before you even have your first cup of coffee? Today, on Senior Health Insights, we are going to walk you through a simple, science-backed, 4-minute morning chair stretch sequence that works with your body's own natural rhythms to flush out stagnant metabolic waste from your joints, lubricate stiff connective tissue, and restore fluid, comfortable movement to your hips, spine, and knees before your day even begins. Morning joint stiffness in older adults is not just an inconvenience, it is a biological signal. And once we understand what that signal is telling us, we can answer it precisely and effectively. That is exactly what this sequence is designed to do. Let's begin with the most important question. Why are mornings so much worse? Why do we wake up stiff, even on days when we haven't done anything particularly strenuous? The answer lies in a substance called synovial fluid. Your joints are not solid structures. The ends of your bones are cushioned by cartilage, and surrounding that cartilage is a small but critical cavity filled with synovial fluid. Think of synovial fluid as the oil in your car's engine. It lubricates the joint surfaces, reduces friction between cartilage layers, and delivers nutrients directly into the cartilage tissue, which has no direct blood supply of its own. Here is the critical point. Synovial fluid does not circulate on its own. It is not pumped through the body like blood. It moves and distributes itself through one mechanism only: mechanical compression and release through movement. When you are lying still during sleep for 6, 7, or 8 hours, this fluid becomes stagnant. Metabolic waste products that accumulate in the joint space are not being flushed out. The cartilage, which absorbs fluid like a sponge when compressed and released, is not being nourished. And so you wake up with joints that are quite literally under-lubricated and nutrient-deprived. Research published in the journal Osteoarthritis and Cartilage has confirmed that cyclical mechanical loading, meaning rhythmic compression and release of the joint, is the primary mechanism by which synovial fluid is circulated and cartilage is nourished. This is why even gentle, low-impact movement in the morning produces such a rapid and dramatic improvement in how your joints feel. But synovial fluid is only part of the picture. There is a second system at work that most people have never been told about, and it is perhaps even more important. And that is the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is your body's internal drainage and waste removal network. It is a vast system of vessels and nodes that runs parallel to your circulatory system. Its job is to collect metabolic waste, inflammatory proteins, and cellular debris from your tissues and carry them away for elimination. Unlike the cardiovascular system, the lymphatic system has no pump. Your heart pumps blood, but lymph fluid is moved through the body by one thing only: muscular contraction and movement. Now here is what makes the morning so uniquely important. Research on circadian biology and lymphatic function has shown that the lymphatic system has a natural peak of activity in the early morning hours. A study published in Nature, the prestigious scientific journal, demonstrated in 2023 that the glymphatic system, which is the brain's version of the lymphatic system, is most active during and immediately after sleep, clearing metabolic waste accumulated during the day. The body's peripheral lymphatic system follows a similar rhythm. Movement in the morning, even very gentle seated movement, acts like a pump, activating this natural morning peak in lymphatic drainage and accelerating the removal of inflammatory compounds and metabolic waste from your tissues and joints. This is not a metaphor. This is measurable, documented physiology. And the 4-minute sequence we are about to share with you is designed specifically to harness this morning window, to capitalize on the body's own natural readiness to detoxify. So let's get into the actual sequence. All you need is a sturdy, armless chair with your feet flat on the floor. Sit upright but comfortably. You are not doing this from a wheelchair or a recliner. A standard dining chair or kitchen chair works perfectly. This sequence is designed to be safe for the vast majority of older adults. However, if you have had a recent hip replacement, a spinal fracture, or have been told by your physician to avoid certain movements, please check with your doctor before beginning. Movement is medicine, but like all medicine, individual circumstances matter. We are going to move through 5 targeted movements, each lasting approximately 40 to 50 seconds. Together they take under 5 minutes, and the order is deliberate. We begin with the spine, move to the hips, and finish with full body circulation. This sequence respects the body's natural anatomical priorities. Number 1. Seated spinal cat-cow. Our first movement targets the spine, specifically the intervertebral discs and the deep spinal muscles that stiffen during sleep. Your intervertebral discs, the shock-absorbing pads between your vertebrae, are also largely avascular, meaning they have very limited direct blood supply. Like cartilage, they rely on a mechanism called imbibition, a pumping action where movement causes them to absorb nutrients from surrounding fluid and expel waste products. When you are sedentary overnight, this pumping stops. Research from the European Spine Journal has shown that the discs actually swell slightly with fluid during prolonged inactivity, which can increase pressure and contribute to that heavy, stiff feeling in the back first thing in the morning. Here is the movement. Sit tall in your chair with both feet flat on the floor, hip-width apart. Place your hands gently on your thighs. On your inhale, gently arch your lower back and lift your chest upward. Your shoulder blades come slightly together. Your belly moves forward. This is the cow position. On your exhale, gently round your spine, tuck your chin toward your chest, and let your lower back press gently backward. This is the cat position. Move slowly. There is no hurry. The goal is to create a gentle, rhythmic pumping action through the full length of your spine, from the tailbone up to the base of the skull. Each cycle of arch and round should take about 4 to 5 seconds. Continue this movement for 40 seconds. 10 to 12 gentle, slow cycles. You are restarting the fluid circulation in your discs. You are beginning to warm the deep postural muscles of the spine, and you are activating the proprioceptive nerve endings in your spinal joints, waking up the neurological communication between your spine and your brain. Number 2, seated hip circles. The hip joint is one of the most common sites of age-related stiffness and arthritis. It is a deep ball-and-socket joint surrounded by a thick, fibrous joint capsule. And it is this capsule that becomes most restricted after prolonged inactivity. Research published in the Journal of Orthopedic Research has demonstrated that circular range of motion exercises are more effective than linear stretching alone for distributing synovial fluid throughout a ball-and-socket joint, because the circular path brings the joint surfaces into contact across a much greater area. Here is the movement. Keep both feet flat on the floor. Place your hands on your knees for light support. Begin to slowly rotate your pelvis in a smooth circle, as if you are drawing a large, slow circle with your tailbone. Go clockwise for 20 seconds, then reverse counterclockwise for 20 seconds. Keep the movement smooth and controlled. You are not rushing. You are not bouncing. You are coaxing the hip joint through its full comfortable range of motion, lubricating the cartilage surfaces, and stimulating the synovial membrane to produce fresh joint fluid. The synovial membrane is the tissue that lines the joint cavity and produces synovial fluid. Movement stimulates it. Inactivity suppresses it. These slow, intentional circles are a direct signal to that membrane to begin its morning work. Number 3. Seated knee lifts with ankle circles. This movement serves a dual purpose. It targets the hip flexors, specifically the iliopsoas muscle, which is one of the most chronically shortened and stiffened muscles in older adults who spend significant time seated. And it activates the ankle and calf pump, which is critical for stimulating lymphatic return from the lower extremities. A study published in Lymphology found that calf muscle contraction is one of the most powerful drivers of lymphatic return in the legs. The calf essentially acts as a peripheral pump for both venous blood and lymphatic fluid. After a night of lying still, the fluid that is pooled in the lower legs and ankles needs to be moved, and ankle circles are an extremely efficient way to initiate that process. Here is the movement. Sit tall. Lift your right knee up toward your chest as comfortably as you can, hold it for just a moment, then lower it. Alternate right and left for 20 seconds. This activates the hip flexors and begins to warm the hip joint from a different angle than the circles. Then for 30 seconds, extend one leg slightly in front of you and rotate the ankle slowly in full circles, 5 times clockwise, 5 times counterclockwise. Switch legs and repeat. Feel the engagement in your calf. Feel the warmth beginning to build. This is your lymphatic pump activating. Number 4. Seated thoracic rotation. The thoracic spine, the middle portion of your back that runs behind your chest, is uniquely prone to stiffness in older adults. This region has a natural curve, and when it becomes restricted, it affects everything else: shoulder mobility, neck comfort, even breathing capacity. Research from the journal Physical Therapy in Sport has shown that thoracic mobility is closely linked to overall functional movement quality in older adults. When the thoracic spine is stiff, the lumbar spine is forced to compensate, often leading to lower back pain. Here is the movement. Sit tall with your feet flat on the floor. Cross your arms gently over your chest, placing each hand on the opposite shoulder. This is your starting position. Slowly rotate your upper body to the right, keeping your hips facing forward and your pelvis still. Hold the end of your comfortable range for just 2 seconds. Then slowly rotate back to center, and continue rotating to the left. Hold. Return to center. Move slowly and breathe. Inhale as you prepare. Exhale as you rotate. This encourages the gentle mobilization of each thoracic vertebral joint, stimulates the small joints of the mid-back, and begins to open the deep rotator muscles that have been compressed during sleep. Continue for 40 seconds, moving back and forth with control. You should feel a gentle, pleasant release through the middle of your back. Number 5. Seated march with deep diaphragmatic breath. Our final movement brings the entire sequence together and activates one of the most powerful and most overlooked drivers of lymphatic circulation in the body, the diaphragm. When you take a deep, full breath from the diaphragm, the descending diaphragm creates a pressure gradient in the chest and abdominal cavity. This pressure change acts like a bellows, drawing lymph fluid upward through the thoracic duct, which is the main lymphatic drainage channel of the body, and into the central venous circulation for elimination. A review published in the Journal of Bodywork and Movement Therapies confirmed that diaphragmatic breathing significantly enhances lymphatic flow and can help reduce systemic inflammation markers. Combined with a gentle seated marching action, this final movement sends a clear, powerful signal throughout the entire lymphatic network to complete its morning flush. Here is the movement. Sit tall. Begin gently lifting alternate knees in a slow, rhythmic march, at a pace that feels completely comfortable. Now, as you march, breathe in slowly and deeply through your nose for 4 counts, letting your belly expand. Then exhale slowly through pursed lips for 6 counts, letting your belly fall. Repeat this breathing pattern continuously for 50 seconds, while your legs continue their gentle march. You will feel warmth spreading through your body. You may notice your joints beginning to feel noticeably looser. Your circulation is moving. Your lymphatic system is draining. Your synovial fluid is circulating. Your morning is beginning in the best possible way. Let's bring this all together into a simple, clear daily rhythm that you can memorize and follow every single morning without needing to look anything up. Movement 1. Seated spinal cat-cow. 40 seconds. Movement 2. Seated hip circles. 40 seconds. Movement 3. Seated knee lifts with ankle circles. 50 seconds. Movement 4. Seated thoracic rotation. 40 seconds. Movement 5. Seated march with deep diaphragmatic breathing. 50 seconds. Total time, approximately 4 minutes. The best time to perform this sequence is within the first 10 minutes of waking, before you have been upright and moving for an extended period. This is when your joints have been longest at rest and when the morning lymphatic window is at its peak. Do this daily, consistently, and give it at least 2 weeks before assessing its impact. The changes in joint fluid dynamics, lymphatic efficiency, and connective tissue suppleness are cumulative. Each morning, you are building on the work of the morning before. It is a scientifically grounded, clinically informed tool, but it is not a diagnosis, and it is not a substitute for medical care. If you are experiencing severe joint pain, new or worsening stiffness, significant swelling, or pain that does not improve with gentle movement, please speak with your physician or a licensed physical therapist who can assess you directly and develop an individualized plan. What we have shared today is consistent with the current evidence base in musculoskeletal health and lymphatic physiology. But every body is different, and the wisest move is always to partner with your own healthcare team. That said, the fundamental truth remains: our bodies were built to move, not to sit still, not to wait. Movement is the original medicine, and these 4 minutes in the morning are one of the most powerful gifts you can give to your joints, your lymphatic system, and your energy levels for the rest of the day. If this video gave you a new sense of hope and a clear, practical path forward, please give this video a like so that others in our community can find it. Share it with a friend or family member who wakes up stiff every morning. They deserve to know this information. Subscribe to Senior Health Insights if you haven't already. It is completely free, and it ensures you will never miss our next deep dive into the science of living well after 60. Thank you for being with us. Move well this morning.